She ran because it felt like flying. She fell because she went too far. And in the silence that followed, something answered her curiosity from the dark. Chapter 2. The Fool. Young Kaighleigh was far from home, on the other side of the mountain bowl. She ran down the mountainside, golden hair streaming wildly behind her, a wide, unguarded smile stretched across her face. Her breath came fast and heavy, lungs burning as her arms pumped at her sides and her legs flew beneath her. The joy inside her glowed, bright and untamed, spilling from every fiber of her being. For this moment, she was free. The wind pressed at her back, urging her onward, and the sun crept higher along the horizon as though chasing her through the trees. She felt light, weightless, like she might lift from the earth entirely and be carried away on the air itself. The forest rushed past her in a blur of green and shadow. Fern and pine filled her lungs with sharp, living freshness. Trunks and branches streaked by too quickly to count, and the ground beneath her feet stayed firm and true as she kicked it up behind her. The ache in her legs and the fire in her chest barely registered. She felt nothing but motion, nothing but flight. She ran farther down the mountain than she should have. She was only 10 summers old and did not know better, though somewhere, distantly, she should have. But that thought never reached her. She lived entirely in the moment, wrapped in the heady rush of speed and freedom, racing down the opposite side of the mountain from her home. When Kaighleigh became excited, the rest of the world simply floated away. "Come back toward the top of the mountain, child." Wulfgar's voice growled in her mind, sharp with fury. She didn't care. She wanted to keep running. She wanted to keep feeling this way. A rock jutted from the slope ahead, its grey lip thrust boldly from the earth. Kaighleigh ran up it without slowing and launched herself outward. For a heartbeat, she flew. Joy burst through her in brilliant colour. She spread her arms, eyes closing as the forest wind tore through her woolen clothes. For one perfect instant, there was nothing but air and motion and light. Then she opened her eyes. Fear ripped through the euphoria. The ground rushed up toward her. She tucked her head just before impact, instincts finally screaming to life. She struck dirt and fern hard, rolling violently, over and over, like a discarded doll tumbling through the undergrowth. The breath tore from her chest as she slammed and skidded to a stop. She sat up sharply, wheezing, sputtering, hair tangled into a furious snarl threaded with twigs and crushed leaves. Her lungs burned as she dragged air back into herself, vision swimming. Then she looked back. Beneath the rock she had launched from yawned a dark opening, a cave-like hollow, twice her height, carved deep into the stone. Her heart gave a strange, curious pang. The ache in her limbs faded from importance as she stared, wide-eyed, forgetting the violence of her fall entirely. The wind whipped high in the trees above, setting branches creaking. Kaighleigh couldn't tear her gaze away. She squinted, coughed, and hauled herself to her feet, brushing dirt from her brown skirt. It was stained now, dark smears and angry green slashes. Mama would not be pleased. She felt it then, the prickle. Wulfgar's anger pressed against her skin, sharp and insistent. She wrinkled her nose at him, though he was nowhere near. She would deal with him later. The sun filtered through the canopy in pale shards, haze drifting lazily in the air, but it didn't bother her. She could see clearly. She always could. She sniffled and wiped her nose on the back of her sleeve. Not the most elven thing to do, but she wasn't wherever she had come from. Her gaze slid back to the cave. Wulfgar, she groaned into her thoughts, a plea wrapped in irritation. Mountain. Now. The pull at her scalp ached. She shook again. No, she wanted to see. She had never seen anything like this before, and for all she knew, never would again. She was kept in her mountain home too often. Trips to the distant town were rare, tightly controlled, and she hated it. She wanted more. She ached for more, for people, for places, for the way villagers stared and whispered about the beautiful farmer's daughter, about how special she was. Her eyes flicked back to the opening. The hole looked almost drilled, angry gouges marking the rock beneath it. Grass at the entrance lay crushed and flattened. Something had been here. Something big. She stepped closer. The nearer she drew, the deeper the darkness seemed to stretch inward. The wind died. A smell lingered. Curiosity surged back into her all at once, memories slamming into place. Her eyes felt as wide as the milk saucers the barn kittens drank from. She was small, very small, but curiosity had always been bigger than her. She had to know. One filthy slipper stepped forward, then another. Closer. The smell worsened. She raised her hand to cover her nose. It was like rotted food hidden deep within the earth. Worse than rotted food. Flesh. Alarm flared sharp and bright. She stepped back and slipped on something wet. Very wet. A wiry chunk of flesh lay upturned in the grass, fur matted dark and stiff. The colour matched the wild boar that roamed these woods. Blood soaked into the earth beneath it, thick and unmistakable. A groan rolled out of the cave. Kaighleigh forgot everything else. "Hello," she stammered. Wulfgar's presence slammed into her, vibrating up her legs. "Child, I told you to go back up the mountain. Who are you talking to?" Something answered. Spurring out of the darkness came a troll. Kaighleigh froze. Time slowed, thick and heavy. The creature hauled itself into the light, claws gouging stone, hunger burning in its soulless eyes. It rose to its full height, slowly. The arm came down. She flinched, and finally, she could move. But not to run. She folded inward, hugging herself. She would lose him, her darker half. The cave erupted. White teeth, black fur, bone-shaking impact. "Run!" The word ignited her body. She ran, up the mountain, faster than ever before. Tears streaked her cheeks. Wulfgar's roar thundered behind her. Then silence. Fear seized her. She turned. Regret struck. She fell. She ran again, down the mountain, home. She burst through the house and into the cellar, throwing herself into darkness. Safe. Her parents held her. She told them everything. Then at last, the wolf song brushed her mind. Safe. And the memory faded. Next time. The danger is gone, but the fear remains. Questions are asked. Rules tighten. And the valley that once felt safe begins to feel small. Because some moments don't end when you get home. They change what home means.
Wasn't that interesting? Now don't forget to subscribe for more.
And ring the bell for your server.